Hi, my name is Desiree. I am a poet and an author. I write poetry and I write realistic fiction, usually coming of age YA stories. But today I'd like to share a mini story with you. If you don't know Reedsy, Reedsy is a platform that you can find editors on, but they also offer writing prompts and sometimes contests. And apparently, I started in 2019 and I entered two of their contests since then. And I wanted to share one of the stories with you because I feel like after the contest is over, the stories still sit there, but it can be hard to find. And I haven't looked back on this story in a while. And so I just wanted to share it with you. So, one, you can get a taste of my writing style, but also two, to share a story that I was inspired to write at the time due to the Reedsy prompt. And I just want to show you again so you can see my style, but just also for me to look back at stories I used to write and just see how my writing has changed or what has stayed the same. So let's check out the story together. I'm going to share my screen. All right. I hope you can see that. And I know I'm tinier, but that's okay. So this is Reedsy Prompts. I'm not logged in. So you could probably find this too if you type Reedsy Prompts and then type my name, Desiree Moten. Like it says, I apparently started Reedsy Prompts in August of 2019. I only have two stories because I only entered two contests. Because a fun fact about me is that I don't like contests with writing prompts usually. I more get inspired by visuals. So if you give me an art prompt, I'm more intrigued and I can think of a poem or think of a story that way more than a specific idea or a specific scene or a specific topic given. But these two inspired me, and I'm only going to be reading one today. I'm going to read my submitted contest to number 3, and it's Bedtime with Maylee or Maylee. Maylee. I believe her name is Maylee. So Bedtime with Maylee. Let's read the story together. Then the prompt, I like that they give the prompt at the top. The prompt was written in response to write a story about a parent putting their child to bed. So this is what I wrote. Lynn finishes cleaning the last plate from dinner and sets it on the dish rack. She looks to the microwave for the time and it displays 6:44. She dries her hands, taking in a moment before starting the process of putting her daughter to bed. She's unsure if her daughter will approach bedtime today by throwing the toys, ignoring her directions, screaming, or listening in order to earn a reward. Lynn walks to their shared one bedroom. Maylee, Maylee at 6:45. What does that mean? Maylee doesn't look up from the toy animals. She's playing with them on the floor. Almost time to clean up. She nods at her daughter. Yes, 5 more minutes. This time she looks at her mom. No, Maylee, you can play for 5 more minutes and then we clean up. She sits down next to her. And if you clean up well, we can sing 2 songs in bed. Patty cake? Maylee sticks a finger in her mouth, smiling. She takes Maylee's hand out her mouth. Yeah, we can sing patty cake. Patty cake, baker's No, no, not now. What were you doing with the animals? Len holds up the horse. What sound does the horse make? Nay. Maylee grabs the duck. Quack, quack. She brings the duck close to her mom's face. Say hi. Hi, ducky. What's your name? Mommy, Maylee replies. Oh, that's the mommy duck? Does it have a baby? No, only the bears. Whoa, a bear? I'm scared. The duck should be scared. She looks at the green cloth on the nightstand. Oh, mommy isn't scared. Maylee has the duck quack loudly at the 2 bear cubs. Oh, Maylee, 4 minutes until bed. Here, Maylee gives her mom the big bear. 2 mommies. Are they both taking care of the cubs? Yeah, Maylee says as she stretches out on the floor, bringing the cubs and the duck closer to her face. She makes small growling sounds for the bears. You hungry? Want to go to space? She places her hands over her daughter's hair and brushes over it. What will we see in space? Stars, all the stars. How will you get there? Maylee sits up on her knees, knocking over a cup. And the moon is gonna be so big. She stands up. Like now, the moon is so big. She smiles at her daughter. The moon is big and bright. Maylie drops the duck and scoops up the two bear cubs and extends them towards the ceiling. Whee! Space we go. Look at the moon. Maylie, 3 minutes until cleanup time. Uh. Maylie climbs on her bed and tries to reach the window. Even on her bed, it is still too high for her to reach. Moon! Want to see moon? She stretches the cubs in each of her hands, hoping they'll help her in some way. Lynn watches as her daughter gets frustrated with failed attempts. How do you ask? Please, can I see? See what? The moon, please. She looks at her mom with wide eyes. Lynn stands up. Yes, you can. She turns off the lights, lifts Maylie up, and twirls the blinds open so they can see the moon. There it is. Is it a circle tonight? Yes. No. It's almost. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I don't know what voice I am. So Lynn asks, there it is. Is it a circle tonight? Yes. No. It's almost, but it's not a full moon. It is. No. Remember, circle is all round. The moon isn't all round tonight. It can be, though. Yes, Maylie says. I want to go. What's a person that goes to space called? Astronaut. She smiles and kisses the side of Maylie's head. You want to be an astronaut? Yeah, I could live in space. Going to discover something? Aliens. Lynn laughs. I hope they don't exist. They do. How do you know? She closes the blinds and walks over to the light switch, still holding Maylie. How do you know? Lynn turns the light on. They do, Maylie says with a high-pitched voice. Oh, okay. She tucks her hair behind Maylie's hair. So it's time for bed. Maylie starts squirming in her mom's arms. No, no. The faster you clean, the sooner we go sing songs. First cleanup, then songs. She puts Maylie down. No. Maylie tucks one cub under her underarm, then grabs the duck, mommy bear, and the horse. She lays them on her bed. She leans with her back towards her mom. Lynn sits on her own bed and looks at the time, trying to avoid looking at Maylie. The time says 6:52. She lets out a breath. Man, I really want to sing my favorite song, but I can't. She looks down at her feet. Maylie twirls around. What song? Lynn looks at Maylie and points to the animal bin. Clean first, then you hear my song. It's Let It Go. First clean. Maylie pushes the animals to the floor. One at a time, she grabs the horse and walks over to the bin and drops it in. She then walks back over and picks up the mommy duck and walks back to the bin and puts it in. I love that you're putting them to sleep, May. As Maylie is back over to the animals on the floor, she says, the bears aren't tired yet. Yeah, they are. I saw the cubs yawn. It didn't. Maylie picks up the cub. I didn't see. Maylie brings the cub over to her mom and rested it on her knee. When? She yawns, just like me. I'm not tired, Maylie argues. She takes the cub from Maylie and cradles it in her hands. Good night, baby. Say good night, May. Maylie just stares at the way her mom holds it. Lynn stands up. Good night, little cub. She fakes kiss it. Want to give it a kiss? Yeah. Maylie kisses the cub's stomach. Lynn smiles. Great job. Go grab the brother so we can put them both to sleep. She walks over to the bin. Maylie runs and picks up the other cub. As she walks over to her mom next to the bin, Maylie whispers to the cub, good night, baby. Good night, cub. Maylie kisses it twice on the stomach. They place the cubs in the bin at the same time carefully. One more bear, Lynn tells Maylie. Maylie walks and grabs the bear. Why does she have to go to bed? Maylie sits crisscross on the floor holding the bear. Maylie, she sighs, trying to refrain from getting frustrated. It's the last bear. No. She has to be with the cubs. Lynn's voice rises anyway. They'll get scared. They're asleep. Lynn bites her bottom lip. She's their mom. She protects them. Maylie starts making the bear climb her arm and her hair, ignoring her mom. Lynn sighs and looks up at the ceiling. She then remembers, don't you want to hear my favorite song? She thinks of a song to come into her head. It's Twinkle Little Star. We can even look out the window as we sing. Maylie pops her head up and smiles. I want to do that. First, put the bear away. She wants to see too. Lynn makes an expression, lips and cheeks tight, eyes narrow, before the word can come out. No, she tells her. Put the toy away. Maylee stands up and walks over to the bin and drops it in the bin. She then puts the lid on. Where does it go? She says, referring to the bin. Maylee pushes it next. Where does it go? She says, referring to the bin. Maylee pushes it next to the closet. She then goes over to her mom and reaches her arms up. Lynn lets out a relieved breath and swoops up Maylee. Look at the room. You cleaned up. Thank you. She hugs Maylee. Thank you, thank you. That makes me happy. Maylee giggles and puts her fingers in her mouth. Don't do that. She taps Maylee's hand and Maylee drops it out of her mouth. You need your mouth to sing with me. She goes and turns off the light and opens the blinds again. Ready? Twinkle, Maylee started. Twinkle, little star, how I wonder. They sang Twinkle, Little Star twice. As Lynn was trying to place Maylee down, Maylee clung to her. Maylee, I'm putting you down. No, I want you to hold me. Lynn taps Maylee's back. Time to get down. No. Maylee, stop. You wouldn't do this to Grandma. Don't do it to me. Maylee doesn't say anything. She has her head resting on her mom's shoulder. Do I have to tickle you? Lynn tickles one of her sides. Do I? Lynn tickles her other side and Maylee jumps a little. Tickle, 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 tickle. Lynn tickles Maylee's neck, underarms, and sides again. Maylee starts to laugh and squirm. Lynn places Maylee down at the end of her bed and does final tickles. The tickles got you. They got you. She stops and Maylee is laying down, smiling and staring at her mom. You want to sing Patty Cake? No. No? Then what song? Baby Shark. Climb in the covers first. She pulls the covers back and Maylee lays down and rests on her pillow. Lynn places the covers over Maylee and sits beside her with an arm around her pillow. All right, baby. They sang Baby Shark, Mommy Shark, Daddy Shark, Grandma Shark, and Grandpa Shark, both of them doing the hand motions for each shark. Again, Maylee asks. No, that was 2 songs. One more. No, Maylee, that was a long song. One more. Look at the time. What time is it? Maylee sits up and turns to the green clock. She takes a second just staring at it. 7. Past 7. 7:09. Your bedtime is 7. I want to sleep with you. Maylee, you need to sleep in your bed. With you. Maylee throws the covers off of her. You're becoming a big girl. Big girls sleep in their own bed. I don't want to. She leans on her mom's stomach. With you, please, please, please. Maylee, I'm staying up for a little bit. I have to do stuff. No. She hugs her mom. I want to sleep with you. She starts kicking her legs. She touches Maylee's legs. Maylee. Maylee doesn't look at her. Maylee, stop this. With you, Maylee shrieks. I like your bed, Maylee says in a high-pitched voice. With you, you. Stop shouting. Lynn finds herself raising her voice. I don't like you screaming at me. Maylee starts to cry. Lynn tones it down. You can't scream at me. I don't like that. Maylee cries into her mom's shirt. She lifts Maylee's head. What do you say to me? Sorry. Lynn looks up at the ceiling and sighs. Sorry, Maylee says again. She looks down at Maylee. She picks her up, and they climb onto Lynn's queen-size bed. She tucks them both in and says softly, This has to stop. You have your own bed. She yawns. You're tired too. Lynn shakes her head, a different tired. We can both sleep. Maylee places her hand on her mom's cheek. Lynn closes her eyes and feels her daughter's gentle hand. She opens her eyes again to catch her daughter's eyes close and then open again. I love you, Maylee. Maylee slides closer to her mom, placing her hand on her mom's ear now. Love you, Mommy. Lynn lets out a breath as she watches her daughter fall asleep. She wonders how her parents handled all her difficult nights when she was a child. Feeling relieved they supported her so she can provide the same care for her daughter today. Lynn lays there some minutes, not wanting to have Maylee stir awake and find a burst of energy. She stares at her daughter's growing black hair. It's back to shoulder length after her last haircut. Her mini pajamas becoming too small for her, but she knows Maylee isn't ready to give them up. She smiles at her daughter's calm face. It's quiet. The light in the room comes from the open blinds and the door halfway open. Lynn catches herself becoming comfortable and blinks. She decides to slowly ease up, placing Maylee's hand gently on the bed. Maylee doesn't move. Lynn then continues and slides carefully off the bed until she's standing. She tiptoes to the door and turns to check the clock. Tonight, Lynn finishes putting Maylee to bed at 7:19. Interesting. I have a lot of thoughts. So I got 3 likes and 0 comments from this story. I did not win the contest, by the way. I think it depends on comments and likes, but it's also based on judges, I guess, final opinion as well. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I think there's a lot of factors that have to do with winning the Reedsy Prompts contest. Let me stop sharing. So yeah, what that story made me think of is how I do work with children. And so I'm not surprised that I took that approach of like the mom trying to regulate and prepare like 5-minute warning and oh, there's these difficulty because the child wants to extend more time as children do and how to work around that. Um, I guess maybe Maylee's 3 or 4 years old. But what I personally don't know is like a normal bedtime for 3 to 5 year olds. So I don't know if 7 o'clock is too early or just the right time. I don't know. So that's the second thought that came to mind. Um, I liked how we saw like the closing of the blind or the opening of the blinds, the turning off the lights to see the moon and then to sing the song. I like that back and forth. Um, by the end, I was thinking of bed safety, and so I wanted to make sure like her wanting to sleep with her mom, I feel like is normal, but just the fact that like Lynn still had other stuff to do, so Maylee falling asleep in her bed instead of her own, and then Lynn having to get out of bed to go finish whatever she needed to finish. I'm just I believe I think it's just sheets and a pillow. So she should be fine, but that's like a thought that came to mind because bed safety, sleep safety. Um, Writing wise, it's like sometimes I wrote like 1 more minute, but it could be spelt out. And I learned that like within the last 2 years of when to spell out a word and when to write the number. And so for like 1 more minute, I could have wrote the word one instead of showing the number one. Um, I did see sometimes in my sentence, I would say she or in my sentences, she walked over to the bin, she placed the duck in the bin. I don't need to say the bin twice. So that is definitely like my old style writing mixed with like my beginner drafts style writing. That is how I talk, and only in later, or how I write. And in later drafts, I see that there's too much repetition and how can I reword it or how can I cut some things out. So yeah, that's some things I noticed. Um, in some ways, I feel like it could have been shorter because the 5-minute warning, then diving into a conversation, and then reminder about the songs, and then transitioning to the cleanup in order to do the songs. And I like that I showed like the difficulty of transitioning Maylee to bed time because I feel like that can be normal for some children. That is hard. Um, and I'm just basing it off of like school time transition, like from play to lunch or from play to going outside for recess or outside time. And so I hope it comes off realistic, because that's my writing style, writing realism. I like contemporary realistic fiction. And so that's definitely why I probably dove into like, oh, I want to do this contest because I could picture that scene. I just don't know if I executed it or if I wrote it well. Um, but yeah, that was fun to read. Definitely let me know your thoughts or how you felt about it. You maybe could still go to the Reedsy prompts right now and then like log in read the story again and like it or comment. So you could do it that way if you wanted to, or you could just leave a comment under this video. Tell me what you thought of the story. Um, yeah, any thoughts that came to mind? Thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope this was an enjoyable little sneak peek into my old writing style, 2019. That is 6 years ago. Wow. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, just write your story, and take care.